welcome to Finding Your Frequency, the show where we meet people who are getting results and living their dreams, but it didn't always come easy. They had to make decisions about who they were, where they were headed, and what success looked like. And today we've got a great story. We've got Robert Smith from Smith Profits. Robert, how are you today?
Doing great, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Listen, you have a wild and varied background in the financial services industry. You built a huge business, and then things took a turn, and you went in a different direction. Give us the origin of Smith Profits and what you're doing now.
They did, yeah. The quick and dirty of it is I was fortunate to be #1 worldwide in production with Mutual of New York, with the Equitable out of Atlanta, as well as AXA Financial out of Paris. Someone rear-ended my car, had a collision, fractured my spine, broke my neck and back. And long story short, I had to close down my practices. I had a financial practice in 3 different states, 4 different offices. Had to shut everything down.
So we talk about finding your frequency. You had to change directions. You had to take something that had been working at an insanely high level, the very top of the world, and pivot. So what led you to the wildly successful consulting business that you run now?
Well, I did. It's unfortunate because for a small period of time, I couldn't walk unassisted. And for a very brief time, I couldn't walk at all. And I had 25 different neurosurgeons tell me, well, just be prepared because you may never walk again. And I thought, if that's the case, what can I do? So I took to consulting and showing other people how to run their businesses. I started in stock brokerage firms, insurance agencies and so forth. And then I've moved on to other businesses as well. But it was just not the fear of it, but just, you always hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And I thought, if worst comes to worst, I can't get out of this chair. I can get on the phone and consult with other people on, how to run their businesses.
So when you dialed it all in, as I understand the story, is you came upon becoming a #1 best-selling author. And tell us how that changed your perspective and how you turned Smith Profits in that direction.
Well, it's interesting because I noticed a couple of things. When I was running my financial practice, we actually created a comic book, which was a sales and marketing piece. And the first book that we released led to a $110,000 commission. And then we pivoted to magazines just for client retention, and we would ask for referrals and so forth. The very first magazine got me $1 million investment and $53,000 in fees and commissions. So I knew there was something to publishing. And I've always known that people who have businesses should establish their authority and enhance their credibility by writing a book. But I realized writing a book wasn't good enough. You had to get it to #1. And if you did, people would pay attention to you. So now what we do is we've hit #1 3 times. So now we help other people do it. And last year alone, we brought 20 business owners to #1.
I was just about to say, if folks need to go to smithprofits.com and take a look at your website, it's a who's who of people that you have helped and the results that you've gotten. So you turn in that direction, but in 2025, you're going to dial it in even more. What are you doing this year that's changed the game a bit?
We are. Well, it's funny because I've been doing a lot of volunteer work like other people have, probably since I was 25 years old. And then when my kids were born, I shifted my volunteer work to their schools. And now my girlfriend's also a school teacher as well as my oldest daughter, so I volunteer in their schools. And I'm trying to combine 2 things. I want to make 1,000 kids this year #1 bestsellers. So while my kids were young, they were published authors and all of that was very nice, but nobody brought them to #1. So what I want to do this year is 2 things. #1, bring 1,000 kids into #1 bestsellers, help them get into better schools, help them to get into better careers, and maybe inspire them to write more often. But also I want to bring patriotism back into the schools. So we've got a book coming out, a series called What I Love About America. And when kids are in this, they just write a simple essay that talks about what they love about America, and the compendium is going to bring everyone to #1 bestseller status.
So since you're on that, and we're at a moment in time where I think patriotism has returned at a huge level, what is it about America that you love the most? What is it that has created in you this sense of patriotism that you want to rekindle the fires in the kids?
Well, I've had it all my life, and actually I grew up with it. I was fortunate. My grandfather was in World War II. He was a gunner in a B-29, and we've always been patriots all the way through. I'm from Detroit, so we've always bought American cars. But patriotism to me is this truly is the land of opportunity, because I don't know anywhere else a man could be number one in his profession worldwide and just get knocked back on his heels and be out of work the next day and then still find a way to come back and claw his way back to the top.
It's an amazing story, and folks need to go to smithprofits.com. We'll put the link to the website in the show notes, and hope you'll come back on Finding Your Frequency so we can update folks on what you're doing to get 20 kids to be #1 bestsellers this year.
Well, we did 20 adults last year, 20 business owners, but we're going to do 1,000 kids this year. So I would ask if anyone, so if you're a school teacher, if you're a superintendent, if you run the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, a football league, a baseball league, let me know. Contact me, and we'll turn your kids into bestsellers.
We'll put all of this up. It'll be on our show notes. It'll go on our social media. We'll send it so you can do the exact same thing. 1,000. Sorry to undersell you. That's not something that's been done to you. Your results speak for themselves, Robert.
Well, it's an ambitious goal, but we're going to knock it out. I've had 2 months off with spine surgery, but now I'm feeling a little bit better. So we've got 10 months to knock it out of the park. And I think we're going to do it. Let's
go. Let's dial it in. We'll find our frequency together. Thanks so much for joining us, and look forward to having you back.
Thank you for having me, Brian. Have a great day.
Robert Smith, Smith Profits. You'll want to hear this story, folks. And we'll see you next time here on Finding Your Frequency.